When you win this race, you get an incredibly iconic trophy.
A good old-fashioned, hot, slick, stock car race.
The racetrack's nothing like anything we've seen. Not a lot of banking, not a lot of grip.
It's NASCAR Xfinity Series practice from Nashville Super Speedway as we get ready to kick off the NBC part of the season. 20 straight weeks until we get to Phoenix for the championship. And right now, here in the Nashville area, it is a scorcher, and that has been a topic of conversation from all the teams. 94 degrees. Right now, just a very slight breeze, but the sun beating down on this mile and a third racetrack. Hello, everyone. Alongside Steve Letarte, our crew chief Rick Allen with you. And Steve, as we get ready to go, there's been a 2-week off time for the Xfinity Series, but we come back to an oval, and that's got to be very good for Junior Motorsports.
Well, the season has been spectacular out of the Junior Motorsport camp. 3 of their 4 drivers have already gone to victory lane. Their youngest driver, Sam Mayer, started maybe a little slow, a little bumpy to get the season going, but he's definitely found his own. Had a great 6 or 8 weeks leading into that time off. The consistency is there. I'm expecting him to go to victory lane at some point this year. But then you mentioned it's an oval, not just an oval, but a concrete oval, the largest on the NASCAR circuit. When I think of concrete, I think of Justin Allgaier. He ran well a year ago. Will it repeat again this weekend?
Yeah, very good at Bristol. Obviously a concrete racetrack in Dover as well. All right, let's bring in our drivers, the Mayor Jeff Burton and Hall of Famer Dale Earnhardt Jr. Junior Motorsports obviously strong, but who's their toughest competition here?
Well, I mean, I think that Ty Gibbs is still actually the favorite to win this championship. I know Junior Motorsports has been winning some races, running really good, but Ty Gibbs for me is still, if not one of the fastest, still the fastest car at a lot of these races here in the last several weeks.
Well, this weekend they have a few different people to deal with as well. Ryan Preece, Tyler Reddick. Listen, I'm always going to watch Tyler Reddick because he's so much fun to watch on the racetrack. The last time he was in this car, he won in it. And Ryan Preece always trying to prove a point. He finished 5th the last time in his car. So both of those guys will be a factor on Saturday.
Yeah, we can hear some cars cranking up. It's going to be exciting to see them on the track. And covering everything trackside for us today, Dave Burns.
Junior, I appreciate that, and I'm telling you, heat is certainly not hard to find down here. It is a scorcher, and as you see Ty Gibbs roll behind me, I will tell you that experience is really hard to find down here in the Xfinity Series on this racetrack. Ty, among those drivers who's never raced here before, in fact, told me just a couple of minutes ago, I have never seen the place, done some simulations, hope that works to my advantage. He is top of the playoff leaderboard with 3 wins this season. But with the most points, A.J. Allmendinger, playoff bond with his 2 wins, just 1 start on this track. He finished 5th here last year. We'll see if his inexperience can be overcome this weekend for a win for the Dinger. But talk about experience, you already mentioned him, Steve did, Justin Allgaier at this racetrack. From 2009 to 2011, 6 starts here, a couple of top 5s, and then of course last year, that strong run that Steve mentioned, finishing 2nd here. Justin certainly would like to use his experience to his advantage, and he's one of the only ones in the field who has it, Rick.
Great stuff, Dave. Thank you. And we see Allgaier rolling out onto pit road now.
Good looking scheme too. I like that paint scheme from Hellman's. Bright, easy to pick up on the racetrack.
And Steve, a little bit of a rarity here on the season as far as the time that they're going to have on track. Most of the practices have been as a group, and then we'll go right into qualifying the day of the race. This is a separate 1-hour practice session that these guys have on track.
Yeah, so a standard weekend, the norm, 15 or 20 minutes of practice, as you mentioned, very limited adjustments, more of almost a shakedown than a practice. This being the most practice we're going to see at an oval. We've seen some other practices, but those were either on newer racetracks or at Portland at the road course we saw practice. So it's always interesting to see practice after a couple weeks off, right? That gives you some time to come up with some new plans, things you want to try. See somebody like this car right here, A.J. Allmendinger. They have found victory lane a few times, but at all the road courses. I think for A.J. to really be a title threat, he has to find that next step at the ovals. We'll see if he uses those 2 weeks off to their benefit.
One thing that's going on today, guys, it's exceptionally hot here in Nashville, and this racetrack, although it looks like a 1.5 miles, it is nothing like a normal high grip 1.5 miles. This place is slick. You can see already A.J. Allmendinger sliding around the racetrack, up the racetrack in 1 and 2. This track is going to be a test with this heat.
And they've used the resin here like they did in the past at this racetrack, and the hope is that that'll widen out the groove as the weekend goes. I think early in practice we're going to see a lot of guys trying to use the bottom of the racetrack. They can keep the cars down there, Jeff, to your point, very slick. But hopefully as the race goes on, they're moving up the racetrack using that high side.
Already seeing some rubber down there. What looks like is the groove now. The Truck Series was just out on the racetrack. How much searching around will these guys be doing to try to find the right line?
Well, I think that right there was a great example. Noah drove into turn one, looked to jump on the outside of Anthony Alfredo that's in front of him, and Anthony went up the racetrack, and then Noah had nowhere to go. So now he's in this battle trying to get by Anthony. I think this is just a great example of what this racetrack can produce. Last year, the racing was incredible. We came here, did not know what to expect, and it produced with some incredible side-by-side action.
Hey guys, wanted to also mention the fact that there are a lot of entries here this weekend, 41 in total. So some drivers are going to be sent home unhappy that they didn't make the show this weekend. So you're going to see some qualifying runs here today. I don't know what the exact number is, but a couple of drivers told me they thought they had to be 33rd or better without any previous starts this year to actually get into the show. So there'll be all kinds of math involved there, but more cars than will fill the field on Saturday afternoon here.
Yeah, Dave, the field will be 38 cars, so 3 will go home of the 41 that are currently on the entry list.
And if you think a bad day is running bad in the race, a real bad weekend is spending the money to travel all the way to Nashville, buying the tires for practice, renting the engine, doing all the capital expenditures, and then not even being able to compete.
A little closer look there at the 19-year-old Ty Gibbs. 3 wins already on the 2022 season. Had a great season a year ago when he didn't run the full season, but for Joe Gibbs Racing, feeling good right now. He's probably one of the favorites, as Junior mentioned, for the championship this year, but he's got a lot of work in front of him still.
Yeah, he was the fastest car at Portland, the last race these guys ran. He's found some new competition in the Junior Motorsports cars, but I think that you know, a track like this, they should really excel. Every week he's been right in that mix. You know, he's battling it out with the Junior Motorsports cars every week at Charlotte and other racetracks. Never ran here, but this Joe Gibbs organization has had a lot of success in the Xfinity Series at this track.
What I like about Ty Gibbs, and you're seeing it right here, is he's exceptionally fast, but he's also very disciplined. You know, he drives into the corner and he hits his marks. He puts his left front tire where it needs to be, and he does it lap after lap after lap. You can see how low he is on the yellow line. That's where the grip is right now, and he puts his car there. And a lot of drivers, Junior, can go fast, but not all of them can go fast and do it lap after lap after lap. And to do that requires discipline, and this young man has that.
Things continue to heat up here at the racetrack, and we're looking forward to this year being able to get a closer look at some of the cities that are in the area of the racetracks through City View. And so currently on Broadway in Nashville is Rutledge Wood. Rutledge.
Rick, when I thought I'd be on Broadway one day, I didn't know it would be here in Nashville, Tennessee. When we talk about City View, we want to show people some of the amazing cities that are out there supporting the great racetracks like Nashville Superspeedway. So let me show you my City View right now. So we're here at Rippy's Honky Tonk. When you look around, it's Friday afternoon. This place is packed. The Fred Band is up there looking good, playing all sorts of great music. But what I love is when you see the hustle and the bustle of all the tourists that are here. Each time the traffic stops, not only is this like capital for every bachelorette party, but across the street you can see Tootsie's, they're partying on the roof. But every place around here downtown is packed with people. They're back out having a great time, and a ton of these fans are coming to the Speedway this weekend. So we're going to go explore. We're going to show y'all some of the favorite stuff that's down here in downtown. We got lots more coming back at you from Nashville here in the city.
Xfinity Series practice underway from Nashville Superspeedway. Looking right now at Justin Allgaier and Tyler Reddick in that 48. Allgaier looks like he's coming to pit road right now, but the Lady A Chevy from the 48 team, Big Machine Racing,
Big moment right there.
Another big moment. He's had a couple where he's gone up the racetrack, but that's kind of Reddick's driving style. It almost makes you want to watch him a little bit more. He goes right to the edge and sometimes maybe over.
Well, I think it just shows you how slick this racetrack is. Jeff was talking about it. Very low on grip. Concrete tracks tend to have pretty rough, surface. The tires kind of bounce across, skip across the surface. And so they'll have their hands full. You got to be free. The car's got to be loose to be fast and be turning here. That back's going to be stepping out all race long.
So drivers, we've seen Reddick drive this car before, taking it to victory lane once already this year. And much was made of that. He was there kind of seeing the equipment, how good this 48 car was, their alliance with RCR. But I guess the other question would be, with less practice, even though Cup gets practice here in about an hour, a newer racetrack, do you think if there's any value to someone like Reddick just running at this facility, Jeff, moving around, figuring out the bumps, the ripples, some of the nuances of the surface?
I talked to Tyler Reddick yesterday, and I said, why are you running the Xfinity race? Like, how does it help you for Sunday? And he said he feels like on low-grip racetracks, it helps him find places to run on the racetrack. So if it has grip on Saturday in a certain place of the racetrack, it'll have it on Sunday as well, is what he believes. So just that searching around, trying things, he feels like he can apply all that when the race comes down to Sunday.
And I think if they're at a racetrack where they're applying resin as well, you definitely want to be able to go out there and explore where that grip is, and you're going to find places where that resin's working really well and where it ain't. He likes to run the high side or the higher lines. He enjoys running up against the wall if it applies at that racetrack. So he's going to go searching around and try to find that high line if it's there to be able to use it on Sunday. Here's a replay of Reddick getting loose. Watch his hands inside the car on the steering wheel as he corrects the race car.
And you almost, as free as he has been, the back of the car is just not stuck. You almost wonder, hey, why don't they just come work on this thing? I understand you want to go make a long run, but if your car is not right, would it not be better just to come in and make the car better? Because he's fairly far off on pace. And when he has one of those big moments, he goes way off on pace. His best lap, I'd say he's maybe at the worst a tenth and a half, off on pace, but it's followed up by a really slow lap as you see that car get really loose on him.
Here's Parker Retzlaff behind the wheel of the 28. Parker just 19 years old. Driving for Ryan Sieg Racing. And as he makes his way around this mile and a third, for more on him, let's go to Dave.
Well, Rick, I was just thinking about young drivers who are experiencing Nashville Superspeedway for the first time. It's true on every track that you don't want to overdrive the corners, but I wanted to go to Junior and Burton and just ask a little bit about overdriving corner number 1 at this track and how you would advise a young driver like Parker as he makes his first laps around this place.
Well, the entrance to turn 1's really wide, and it looks like you can go down in there really deep into the corner. And what happens, Jeff, is once you get to the middle of the corner and you realize you don't have the grip that you need, and you overdrive the center and slide up. And we see a lot of guys miss the middle of turn 1 and 2 because that entry looks really, really good. It looks like, man, I'm going to drive this car way down in there, right to the bottom, grip up and go. But then the car, the racetrack kind of bends, the radius increases around the turn 2, and the track gets really, really tight.
It looks like Charlotte, and it drives like Richmond.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to just inch into turn 1. You can't drive in there carrying too much speed at all. There's just no grip in the middle of 1 and 2. Like you said, the radius gets so tight on the exit of 2. It looks like a mile and a half, but from up here, and whenever I've driven a car here, it really approached turns 1 and 2 way more like Richmond than I did a mile and a half.
Here's Noah Gragson, and his 2 wins couldn't have come on any more different racetracks this year. Phoenix and Talladega for the 2 wins for Gragson.
That Phoenix is a very important win just because the championship will be settled there at the end of the year. Now, you still have to get there. Now, we expect him in the playoffs with his wins, but, the playoffs are a long grind, and it's easy to trip up. But having success at the most important race to finish the season, if you're fortunate enough to get yourself back there, that should help you out.
Watch him turn the steering wheel down in the corner, trying to understand where the balance of this car is. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of trouble at the rear end of the car. A couple times he's correcting a loose sensation. mostly seems like he's having to lift a little bit on turn 2 exit, waiting on the front of the car to work a little bit.
So you saw him turn his head a great deal to the left on the front straightaway. I bet you $1 he was looking at the score pylon to see where he was on the board, because they just ran. When he first went out, he got caught behind some slow-worked cars and didn't lay a lap time down. His fastest lap is on this run. And I guarantee right there, that's what he's doing. He's looking at the scoring pylon saying, where are we?
Well, right now you're second, Noah.
That's a race car driver right there. Always want to know if am I good on the board?
I'll never forget that we had races together, and we'd be out there running around wherever, 10th or something, and Dale would be like, so-and-so's having a good day. I'm like, well, how do you know, know that? Like, I want to see him on the score pylon or see him on the big screen. Or,
what's really great is when the driver calls the replay of the wreck they're showing on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I like that one, too.
Right
car that, sorry, Rick, I was going to say a car that I'll be honest, I was expecting more out of this year. Was this 2-car Sheldon Creed. I expected him moving to RCR. He was going to have good pace, contend, and he kind of had a little bit early. But it's hard to believe, while he does have 6 top 10s, 0 top 5s. That shocks me a little bit. I expected him to be that kind of next step better. But today, currently 5th on the charts, and his consistency matches that speed. So we talked about those 2 weeks off. It looks like the 2-car and RCR group have found a little something.
You mentioned expectations. I'm guessing that the ARCA Championship in 2018 and the Truck Championship in 2020, that puts the bar pretty high. And Dave, obviously moving to RCR, he had expectations that success was going to continue.
Well, and of course these cars drive so much differently than the truck did after the championship there, and I would be shocked if he doesn't find victory lane before the end of this season, but we'll see how it goes for him. Currently on the track here, the spotter was telling him, kind of pursuant to our discussion of turn 1, arc it more into the corner, and then he said, just like the 54 is. So apparently Ty Gibbs, the youngster, having never been here before, is getting it right, and they'd like Sheldon to do more of the same to match that speed.
Yeah, a lot of eyes continue to be on the 54 and Ty Gibbs, the successes that he has had already. A little over 33 minutes remaining in practice for the Xfinity Series from here at Nashville Super Speedway. Fastest so far, right there, A.J. Allmendinger. And I was able to enjoy that show last night. A lot of fun there with Austin Whitney, Paul and Mariel talking about life in the fast lane. Coming up next, right here on USA, will be Cup Series practice. And then the airing of that show that aired last night will be follow us right here on USA. Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. Tomorrow, Xfinity Series qualifying at noon. Cup Series qualifying at 1. Countdown to green at 3 and 3:30. Xfinity Series racing all on USA. So make sure to join us tomorrow. Again, a full day on USA. And on Sunday, Countdown to Green will be on Peacock, getting us ready for the Cup Series race from right here at Nashville. That will be on NBC, followed by post-race coverage on Peacock at 9 o'clock after the race. And again, a reminder for today, later on this evening at 7:30 Eastern, will be the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. That coverage tonight on FS1, so you can enjoy that from right here at the track.
Riding on board with Riley Herbst, and one good thing I'm seeing, guys, is where this car is running on the racetrack. You know, we all worried about when we started bringing the Nashville Super Speedway back to NASCAR and back to the top 3 series. Where would the cars race? It's typically been a bottom feeder racetrack right on the bottom against the apron. But with this resin, you know, we used to use PJ1, but now we're using this resin, and it has really performed so well at every racetrack that they've applied it. And we saw last year just amazing races here in all 3 series. Right here in practice, we got guys moving up the racetrack already, trying to find pace and speed. That's what you want as a race car driver. You want to be able to move around and adjust your line, go other places, get out from that dirty air from the car in front of you, be able to make passes.
We had followed Tyler Reddick in the 48 earlier, and now he's out of the car with Dave down in the garage.
Yeah, Rick, he just topped out. Did I hear you say it broke?
Yeah, I went from 3rd to 2nd instead of 4th, so yeah, I don't know the extent the damage is, but definitely not good.
All right, Tyler Reddick out, and it sounds, guys, it might have been that shifting thing. I wonder, now that they're doing sequential shifting, in fact, Tyler, let me ask you real quick. I mean, jumping from car to car now, is that different going from sequential back to this, which you were very familiar with and won a championship with?
Yeah. You know, I ran this car twice, and I didn't have any problems, so I'm pretty sure it's the same shifter I've used, so I don't know what exactly I did wrong, but I found the wrong gear, and made the night a lot tougher for the Big Machine Racing team, so bit shocked, honestly.
All right. He sounds shocked, guys, in a tough break.
You can see how disappointed he is, and I think that there may be something to the fact that they're in the sequential shifting now in the Cup car, but also the gate in these transmissions can be a little bit different. That H pattern from one transmission to the next can be slightly different, and I've had that mistake before, and you swear you're making the right shift or you're making the right decision and go into the wrong gear. But man, he's highly disappointed, but it's good that this happened in practice. They'll be able to make the changes, get the improvements to be able to fix this car and get it back out on the racetrack. They need to work on the balance a little bit.
Yeah, the biggest thing now for the 48, though, is with an engine change, you know, they know he'll be starting at the back. So now we know Reddick's exciting, but those first 15 laps are getting ready to be real exciting with him starting in the back. See some disappointment and some shock from out of Tyler Reddick. They'll have to put a new engine in the 48. We'll be back to practice here in Nashville.
Tires a very valuable commodity, so you're not going to see guys making any changes on those. The fastest laps were run early for most drivers, especially A.J. Allmendinger. His third lap out on the track was his fastest, and it's still the fastest lap that has been turned. You take a look at the 5-lap average, Allmendinger topping that list as well, and then you have Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, Trevor Bayne, and Daniel Hemrick all in the top 5 of the 5-lap average.
That's a big improvement for this organization. Colleague had a lot of success last year, and I know the 16 cars won a couple races this year, but they just haven't quite been the top Chevrolet team that we saw last year. But here today looks like they've brought great speed, not for just AJ in the 16, but also Hemrick's got good pace as well.
Yeah, that lap AJ just ran right there, it was really fast. Ran a 32 on 22-lap tires. That's as fast, if not faster, than everybody on the racetrack.
It'd be easy to think that maybe their Cup effort has taken a little bit of focus away from what they're doing in the Xfinity Series, but it seems like they brought some good pace here and could have a shot at the win.
It has to have an impact on them as well.
Yeah.
AJ's there. He was there last year, but the 2 other drivers are brand new to the team. They're having to learn that team. How do they, work with AJ? Not that they're working against each other, but how do you help AJ? How does AJ help you? Like, they're trying to learn themselves, and that's a lot of turnover for one team.
And earlier in the year, we had heard a few times Chris Rice mentioned that when the drivers would complain that he felt confident he knew what the issue was, but that it was going to take time to fix. Now, so I don't know what that means, whether it's a different build to the car, maybe a different aero balance, maybe some sort of different shape, to move the center of pressure, tighter or looser. I don't know. He's not willing to tell me what was in his poker hand, but he knew he didn't have the cars he wanted, but he felt like he could get them, and maybe those 2 weeks off have been working for this group.
Well, Junior, you brought up a great point. I think a lot of people have thought, well, are they diluting their efforts by going with Cup cars and Xfinity cars after having such success in the Xfinity Series a year ago? I mean, is that taking away from all of their operations?
They're too competitive. Knowing Chris Rice, when the performance dips in the Xfinity Series, you know just how competitive he is as a person. He's not going to allow that to maintain. And I'm not surprised at all that they would ever find the pace that they had last year and be able to come to a track like this and do well. That their Cup program has a lot of time to gel and come together. I know they want to perform well and do well now, but they have built this Xfinity program up to be one of the best in the business. They are not going to allow it to be second fiddle to any other team.
And it's impressive enough, I think, that you have A.J. Allmendinger, who had a very successful career in every form of motorsports. He chose to stay in the Xfinity Series. When they announced that they were going to start a Cup Series team, everybody thought, well, A.J.'s going to go over there. He'll race, one of the cars. And A.J. said, no, I'm going to stay full-time. I want to try to win a championship in the Xfinity Series.
40 years old.
Yeah.
Right? A.J. Allmendinger It's to the point in his career where he wants to go in races and have fun. And that Cup side is brutal. That Cup side is, you don't sleep at night. It's constant worry, constant pressure. It's pressure over here in the Xfinity Series, but not like that. And it fits AJ perfectly. AJ is the perfect choice for Kaulig Racing, not only for this Xfinity program, but he helps their Cup program too. When he drives that car, he helps that Cup program too. And he's been a major part of Kaulig Racing getting to where they are. It's a great hire by them, and also smart for them to double down and say, hey, AJ, what do you need, man? What do you need? We're going to make your stuff drive good, and everybody else is going to follow, and it's going to make everybody better.
I felt like that really didn't change the platform at all. Might actually hurt it. And still fighting the same issue, and that kind of took the back out of the racetrack a bit more there.
Some good feedback from the driver back to the crew.
So, Steve, I bet you they were trying to make it turn better, and they made the back not stuck in the racetrack as much. He said still dealing with the same issue, but now the back's not in the racetrack. So, inevitably, that's what happens. You want the front end to turn better, and many times to do that, now you didn't really help the front, but you just unhooked the back, and that's what I was hearing from AJ.
I'd always tell Steve to make the car freer by working on the car firewall forward, and that was like an impossible task.
Don't hurt anything.
I want you to turn better, but don't mess with the back.
We can put a man on the moon, but we can't take it turn in the middle of the corner.
True. J.J. Yaley here in the 13 car, 4th in overall speed. We heard Dave mention at the beginning of the show, we've talked about it, 41 cars here for a 38-car field. So we believe these first 2 runs for the 13 car were single lap runs that put them up there 4th. So, we talk a lot about qualifying, and the bigger teams, they're just going to make their adjustments and go. It's an impound, so you have to qualify your race setup. But for someone like JJ in this 13 car, being here for the race on Saturday afternoon is as important as anything. So they made a couple single car or single lap runs. It looks like they felt good about it. Now they're out here for a multi-lap run in practice. I mean, you see a blank car, right? Nothing on the hood. So that's a big investment to come out to Nashville, and they want to go ahead and put a big show on and make sure they're in the show.
Crash claims are us.
You don't want to claim, Rick. You don't want to claim
on
the
this side. Yeah, you definitely don't want to have to call the insurance company on this one. So many world famous venues here in the Nashville area. The Ryman, the Grand Ole Opry. Over 60,000 people that live here in the Nashville area are employed in the music industry. So a great thing happening here at Nashville, as well as the races taking place this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. The Xfinity Series will be out on track on Saturday. Again, coming up later today will be Cup Series practice right here on USA, then followed by Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. And again, Saturday, keep it right here on USA. We've got Xfinity Series qualifying, Cup Series qualifying, countdown to green. Xfinity Series race 250 miles from here at the 1 1/3 miles. And then on Sunday on Peacock, we'll get things started with our countdown to green, and then the race. It'll be 5 o'clock Eastern on NBC, and then post-race coverage following on Peacock once again. So that's where we want you to join us this weekend for all of the excitement taking place. And there's also excitement taking place at Rut City View. Rut, how are you doing out there in Nashville?
Rick, I'm great, man. I'm actually right now in one of the most famous alleys in all of Nashville. We're just off of Broadway. Right behind me, this is the back staircase to the Ryman. So some of the greatest musicians in country music have come up into the Ryman right here. This served as the Grand Ole Opry from 1943 to 1974. And when you take a look at this incredible building, formerly the Tabernacle here in town, you just really get that sense of how many popular musicians have been playing here. I mean, everybody that you can think of has played here. Even our own Kyle Petty has played on this historic stage. You also see the Orchid Lounge. That's right, Tootsie's a famous name we know not only from town, but being on the racetrack with Daniel Suarez. But just like Xfinity being a place where names are made, everywhere you walk, you can hear bands, you can hear musicians that are out there trying to get their name out, their face, trying to be the next person that we see in country music. Everywhere you look in this town, it really is where names are made, not just there on the track, guys.
And Rutledge, I wonder if he'll be able to see Tim Duggar later at the Grand Ole Opry. He's playing this evening at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, I'm taking a field trip after cup practice. Go see our buddy Duggar.
Little wiggle there out of Ty Gibbs in the 54. Saw a gap forming between Allgaier in the 7 and Ty Gibbs.
These are the two I have circled. We see Allmendinger's fast on, as far as a 1 lap. Gregson was good. The 54 has been super consistent. The 7 came out, got caught in a little bit of traffic, but they came back on the racetrack with 20-lap old tires and set his fastest lap of practice for 8th quick. I really believe that the 7 has a good car. Some of these averages kind of can skew it because he's been in more traffic than others. I really believe the 7 and the 54, Dave, those are the 2 cars I'm looking at.
And Steve, the crew chief of the 7, Jason Burdett, believes the same thing that you do. I just checked with him on the status of Justin Allgaier's car. He said, we're trying to get the middle of the corner a little bit better. We want the car to cut the middle of the corner right as he gets down and in and right through there, cut just a little bit better. So they made an adjustment for that. And as I was talking to Jason, I realized he's a stand-on-the-ground guy for this practice, Steve. I was going to ask you, others here are up and down the ladder with the high side view of the track and pit lane. Were you a ladder guy, or were you a down-on-the-ground, get my hands on the race car guy during practice?
I like to go anywhere I could see the car on the racetrack. I thought it always helped me relate to what the driver was saying if I could visually see it. I never, as bad as I want to be a race car driver, Rick, I had nowhere near the skill to do it, but I've watched race cars since I was a really little kid at Saturday night tracks and through my Cup Series career. So watching the car itself always just helped kind of spur my thoughts on maybe what was working at what point of the corner. What I've learned about drivers is, and what the fans need to understand, is when you say the middle of the corner, you don't mean the physical middle like if you draw it on a piece of paper. Sometimes it's what you see the middle, where you need the car to actually change direction. So the most important thing is that the driver and the crew chief not just balance, but exactly where on the physical racetrack you need the work done.
Watching this 5 car right here, Ryan Preece behind the wheel. We have a 5-lap, a 10-lap, a 15-lap average. Well, one car that's almost matching that 54 of Ty Gibbs is this 5 at 15-lap average. He's faster than the 9. He's faster than the 7. He's faster than Reddick in the 48. I think Preece is going to have something to say about who's up front, who's going to win this race on Saturday. Good pace out of this car.
He's on the pole for the truck race tonight. That's a B.J. McLeod car. They have a technical alliance with Stewart Haas Racing, so good equipment.
Ryan Preece continuing look strong here. As you mentioned, the 15-lap average. He's second on that list. We'll be right back. More practice here from Nashville. The resurgence of Trevor Bayne behind the wheel of the 18 here.
I think he's one of the best stories going right now in the Xfinity Garage. This guy's trying to get himself back into the sport. He's been out for several years now. Has 4 kids and a family farm. He runs 3 coffee stores, his own business, does it all himself. And he's also done a little TV this year in the studio and for some of the races. So he's had his hands full. He's trying to get back behind the wheel. That's his ultimate goal, searching for opportunities going forward. I think he's performed better than any of us expected when he got in this car this year, having been out of the car for so long. He went out there and was quick right away. Looking for a great run tomorrow.
Dave.
And Rick, another driver with a great opportunity, it looks like, is the 9 car. Noah Gragson done for this session, and second quick on the board. What'd you find?
We played with some different spring stuff, and this is the first, I guess, track that we've had a long practice at. So at the same time, we want to try some stuff that we don't normally do, and I think Luke Lammer and the rest of those guys, Bass Pro Shop team, they're doing a great job. So it's hot, but it's good. It's slick. I kind of like. I can feel the PJ1, the resin a lot better this year than I could last year. So feel a lot more comfortable here. My car's just as fast as Xfinity Internet, and shout out to Xfinity for everything to do for our series, and just having fun out here.
How would you describe the heat? Hottest you've been in the car this year?
Yeah, it's hot.
H-O-T. It is hot, guys.
Dave, I want to know, did he search you out because he's been bragging about the mullet came back? I wanted to know if he wanted to get on TV for that.
About the what, Rick? Sorry?
The mullet coming back. He was bragging about that on social media, so I was wondering if he sought you out so he could get back on camera.
I've been told the mullet gets a percentage in all this. Is that right, Noah?
What'd you say? Percentage of what?
No, whatever you make for this TV interview.
Yeah, the mullet. Man, the ladies were hitting me up on Instagram saying, we want the mullet back, we want the mullet back, and we got the mullet back, fellas. We're back.
Here it is, and Rick, it's hot.
Yeah, big smile on his face, too. Having fun.
They continue to talk about the temperature. We had the president, Eric Moses, on Motor Mouse on Monday, and he didn't shy away from the temperature. He knew it was going to be very warm, so they've really gone out of their way to try to make sure that the fans are taken care of. He mentioned how the shade's going to the sun kind of sets behind the tower. You see right there, 125 degrees inside the car. You go, oh, boy, let's see if this is the first time.
You can do it.
Oh, man, first time this year. That's pretty good work on the telestrator for me. Normally it's a disaster. But Eric Moses was mentioning how the front stretch should be shaded. And as I look out the booth, the front stretch is kind of in shade, at least for the fans, as the sun starts to set. They put some fresh water stations where you can bring your own bottles, fill them up for clean drinking water, doing a lot of things proactively. He knew that the temperature was going to be a concern for just the competitors, but the fans alike, and he wanted to make sure they came out and had a great time. And I will say, we came here a year ago, and I thought it looked great. But I think they've made even more improvements. I think the track looks great. It's exciting, and I'm excited to be back in Nashville.
Awfully fast for Sam Mayer already, and a great start to the season for him. Seems like he's been very consistently top 5, top 10. A strong performance already early out of the young 18-year-old.
Yeah, Sam, you just said it, 18 years old. Think about it. Came into the series with no practice, no ARCA experience, no truck experience, doing more mile and a halves. Go get you some, and guess what? It was difficult. And so this year, getting a little bit more practice, I think, is really paying dividends for Sam. Watching him right here, looks like he's had his hands full pretty much this whole practice. This car has not been to his liking.
Yeah, the season started rough for this guy, banged up a lot of race cars, but he's found a way to get to the finish of these races, be more competitive, put together races. It's been good.
4 minutes remain from the track here at Nashville, and Cup practice will be on here at the USA in just a few minutes. Right here on USA, it's Cup Series practice. That's coming up next. And then, of course, Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. That first episode aired last night. Re-air just after Cup Series practice. Tomorrow, all on USA. Xfinity Series qualifying, Cup Series qualifying, countdown to green, Xfinity Series racing. We are welcoming USA and excited to be a part of USA. NBC on Sunday, and Peacock. Peacock gets us started to countdown to green. We'll be on NBC at 5 o'clock for the race here, 400 miles from Nashville. And post-race coverage will be back on Peacock as the final minute of practice wrapping up here. And you see fastest lap speed, and Sheldon Creed jumps to the top of the board.
Yeah, I would assume most of these teams, how Xfinity works is they have 5 sets of tires for basically the weekend, but you're only allowed to use 4 in the race, which means you burn one up in practice. But you have the opportunity to throw another set of stickers on, make a qualifying round. That just means at some point tomorrow, you're going to have to put 1 lap tires on during the race. So we didn't expect to see many cars put on fresh tires, but the 2-car, Sheldon Creed, we had mentioned they're kind of looking for a jump start. Think track position is important, Jeff. They threw a set of stickers on there and made a qualifying run.
And give that young man an opportunity to fill an Xfinity car in practice on new tires that he can go say, okay, this is what I need different for tomorrow. That experience could pay off. Now, that set of scuffs that you put on in the race, be careful when you put those on because they are not as good as stickers.
Red and black flags displayed. That's the end of practice. Again, a longer practice for the Xfinity Series than they have had all year long. And the Cup Series will be doing the same in just a few moments. They'll be making their way out onto the track. They've also got a 1-hour practice session in front of them to get used to this racetrack that they ran on for the first time last year. So just the second race for the Cup Series, and they will be on track here in just a few moments. But here in the Xfinity Series, did we see anybody jump up and surprise you or anybody impress you from what we saw in practice?
I don't know if there were surprises, but I do believe it's, in my opinion, and Dale and Jeff have both said it, Kaulig has made a big improvement on their ovals from before the couple weekends off. 54 fast like we thought. Junior Motorsports cars fast. A great junior, the Kaulig cars look like they made a big jump.
Yeah, and then I think the secret weapon is Ryan Preece. I think that he's a guy that can go out there and race without any worries, no points. They can pit, strategize to win. He's here to win and nothing else, and he's got a fast car. that's going to be tough for the rest of the competition.
Yeah, I go with Sheldon Creed. Sheldon Creed, fastest on the board, but also pretty good on 10-lap averages. Dave.
And guys, I can confirm, thanks to some help down here, that Sheldon Creed was indeed on stickers. But the guy in the old tires who was quickest today was J.J. Allmendinger. We were talking about what a nice jump for Colleague Racing over last year. Did you feel that today?
Yeah, I mean, all the men and women at Colleague Racing have been working super hard to try to get some speed in our race car. I know we're leading the points and we have 2 wins, but as a whole, we haven't felt like we've been up there at consistently in a lot of these races. So really happy with the Nutrien Ag Solution Chevy. You never know what it's going to hold tomorrow, but the biggest thing is at least we've had speed. That's something over the last couple of months, even in practice, we haven't even had any speed. So to be P1 on the board out there and be, I think, pretty fast on consistent lap times, at least it's a really good start.
AJ's looking good, Rick.
Yeah, Dave, and he looked pretty fresh, too. I mean, AJ out there in the race car, it's very, very hot here. So the temperature is definitely going to be something that they're thinking about. Now, Colleague obviously has got a big mountain in front of them because Junior Motorsports has won the last 10 stages, not just the races, whatever. 10 stages they've won the last on ovals. And so Colleague Racing has a formidable challenge in front of them, but they looked competitive. Coming up next, right here on USA, it's Cup Series practice from Nashville. Again, Daniel Suarez coming off the big win 2 weeks ago, his first career win. He'll be on track.